Good evening.
Good evening.
Uh, Skylar, no audio.
Yep, sorry. I have too many mute buttons. But yeah, long time. I think it's been all of 30 seconds. So,
It has.
but but now we're with the people. So, all
What do,
right.
what do we want to talk about?
Well, so I'm curious about the comment that's in the chat already. What is this pro camp kitchen thing?
I don't know. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris.
So, Chris, if you get an R1T, are you getting a camp kitchen? I mean,
They
or
don't
excuse me,
exist. Oh,
when you get your R1T.
that's what I like.
What are
No,
you?
doesn't like was it what's the company that does the travel supply, something travel supply that makes lightning travel supply or something
Oh,
like that?
There's
Thunder.
Thunderbolt.
Yeah,
Thunderbolt. Yeah.
their camp kitchen looks really cool.
Yeah.
I but I don't want to lose my whole gear tunnel. So like I don't know if I would be interested in having I'd probably just do the travel kitchen, which is a little suitcase. I keep expecting that when R2 comes out, we'll have a similar option for the rear of the truck where it has like an accessory port and there's like a table. I need to find that picture. And then the travel kitchen sits on it. I need to find that.
Yeah. I
Say that one
mean,
more time.
So R2 has, it's going to have a hitch and it's going to have these two accessory ports on both sides of the
The
vehicle.
bumper.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, and if you look in some of the pictures, they have like a bike rack that slides into them. And they're powered. I've actually got a picture of what it looks like inside that port.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to touch R2. And they also have like this kitchen platform, I'm going to call it, where like the travel kitchen sits on it and it's got water and a few other things that are stowed away in there. And that might be pretty cool. I would hope that they come out with a similar option for the R1 where it mounts, I guess, the hitch because we don't have the accessory ports. And then you can put the travel kitchen on it because that'd be
Yeah.
pretty slick.
I mean, it's basically the Yakima camp kitchen setup that is hitch mounted already. Like they're just going to end up doing what Rivian does best and partnering with them for that accessory and name it Yakima X Rivian, like they
yeah.
did with the tent and uh, what now Kamek.
Yeah, the awning.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, but it's
Yeah, so-
basically if you look at Yakima's camp kitchen setup, it's pretty sweet. We have two members here in Florida that have it. It's pretty sweet.
There it is in the
Yeah.
back. I saw some pictures in this post that I've never seen before. So it's got this, and you can see the travel kitchen sitting on top, and they have like, hold on, let me go back a couple. They have like looks like pots and pans in there,
Yeah.
and maybe it's the lighting accessory stuff, and then there's the bike rack, and then there's this thing. I've never seen this one before. Like it's
It's
got
just like a tote. Yeah.
yeah. So that looks cool.
It's a portable garden bed, bro.
Just,
You can
just bring
grow
the
your own
veggies with
food.
you.
Yeah, just grow your
That's
own food.
right.
And then
Just
when you
bring
get
the
the
veggies
campsite, you
with
pick
you.
it. You pick it. You hope it doesn't bounce off down the highway, but yeah.
Darren, to answer your question on the awning, the same gentleman that has the Yakima kitchen, Gary Halsey, him and his wife, they are Kamek dealers as well, and he does have that Kamek awning, the Sans Rivian one. So he spent way less money. So if you're looking at saving $300, then let me know because he can get it for a lot cheaper and it's the same thing and it just doesn't say Rivian on it. But it actually works really well. You can attach the sidewalls to it to give you a little bit more shade. They love it, and it's fairly simple to set up. I mean, literally just pull it out from the vehicle, and you don't need to have supports or anything. It's pretty awesome.
I'm gonna show you one other thing that you guys might not have seen yet. It's an accessory. There it is. So this is from Michael Cusick, who is he's the famous R1T owner that had like flooded R1T that was caked in mud.
Yeah, from the hurricane, or
yes, yes. And so
Yep.
he's got a prototype he's built. I think he's built it of a portable shower. He's been using it to offer showers to, I believe, the Asheville residents. And so he's got heated. It looks like a hot shower prototype. So I think that's pretty cool. I think he's going on some kind of trip across the country, and he's got this with him, and he's being able to shower right there in his R1, right next to his R1T, I guess. I think that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Looks like he's got a Kickstarter coming too. See, final testing before Kickstarter drops.
Interesting.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, I've seen those. I mean, I guess it's heated using the onboard power of the Rivian, right?
Yeah, it would have to be. I know Gerald Williams, former Rivian employee, he took the Yakima road shower, and there's a threaded plug on the opposite end of where the hose screws in, and he put a low voltage water heater in there, and then runs it to a 110. It's like it's like I said, a low heat plug, but it still does a decent enough job heating 5 gallons. Yeah. Time and money.
What was the original topic?
Nothing. We're just jaw jacking over accessories.
A whole ton of accessories dropped this past week. The big ones that were cool that came out finally were like the tires. You can get a spare tire in just about every option. I think there's 1 or 2 missing. Dune, obviously, and is there Sport Bright or something missing? There's something missing. I can't remember what it was. I think it's a 20. One of the 20s is missing from the spare tire options. They have the spare tire cover lift thing for like $70-$80, and then but yeah, the 22 arrows that people wanted, those are now on the shop, but they're on the shop, but you can't actually buy them. You have to call the number. Right. So there's a lot of people, that self-included, that have referral money, and they're like, we can't buy it. We can't actually redeem it for the tires or the wheels. So that kind of sucks. The awning dropped. What else? Ton of clothing. The storage drawer dropped, and I don't think it's available yet. Like, it's actually on the shop, but none in stock.
Yep.
Ton of other major things dropped.
A ton of really expensive clothing.
That puffer coat looks really sweet, though.
Yeah, surprisingly, that's as cheap as it is. I think it was like $80.
No, it was 120. No, you can't get a coat for under $100 from Rivian. That's what is it? What are they, a charity?
No, I'm just you can get their bomber jacket for $80. I'm almost positive that puffer jacket wasn't terribly expensive. There was a plaid like shirt that was $250. The jacket was cheaper than it.
I'm gonna check it.
Check it. Check it.
It's 120.
All right. That's still cheap compared to the plaid shirt. It was like $250.
At least they don't like upcharge you if you get the 2X or so, a big one.
Hey, and we got props on our audio tonight. So if you guys had any idea how much of a goat rodeo it was to make sure everybody's stuff was working correctly, it took us what, 10 or 15 minutes?
It did.
Like, yeah, it was ridiculous.
I literally got this mic like a couple hours ago because my other one, like I think it was like Skylar's, actually is a pod mic USB. That one just cut out in the middle of talking, so that one went back, and then I got this Shure mic, and so it seems like it's rock solid.
You do sound lovely, Chris.
Thank you.
Or maybe it's just because you just turned 45 yesterday.
There was such power in that whisper. Even the whisper sounded good, Chris. Amazing.
I did spend another $100 on this damn thing over my other one, so it better if you sound 10 times better. $100 better. What else happened this past week? Let me look at my history.
Greg, there's a company that does have, I think it's a small outfit, maybe even a person that makes the keg for the gear tunnel, the little plate, like the wood. Did we talk about this already?
No.
Did we talked about this last week?
No.
No.
I know what you're talking about. It's sweet. It's sweet, though.
Sweet, but it's not it's not refrigerated. There's nothing, like, you got to find a way to refrigerate that bad boy, or else you're gonna be drinking.
Oh, like an actual keg, like keg of beer.
Yeah.
So this is kind of cool though, but this was a homemade deal, and it actually helped several Rivians get unstuck out of like powder sand. But one of the guys that went on beach cleanup, golly, over a year ago now, I believe, had just a 5-gallon soda keg, like the long skinny ones that he could pressurize and spray water out of. And that was freaking incredible. And yeah, he had it in his gear tunnel, and they would not have gotten out of the sand if he didn't wet down the sand a little bit to provide some sort of traction.
Very nice. We got a guy that took, for those familiar with EcoFlow products, the EcoFlow Glacier, their refrigerator, and he brews beer. His name is Ryan. He brews beer, and he reached out to EcoFlow to get to purchase a second lid. That way he could drill holes through the top of the one to put his taps in. And EcoFlow thought it was such an awesome idea. They sent him a spare lid for free, so he can switch out his lids if he's actually bringing beer. He can switch it out. Yeah, there you go.
Like you can see, it's got all the equipment in here. Like it's got the.
Oh well, so that's just the lid then.
Yeah, it's just a lid.
Or like that's just the way to attach the tap. But that is cool.
But you can choose beer or cold brew.
Yeah. Which won't be very cold if you don't have a way to refrigerate it.
Yeah, but details. That is pretty slick. Man, see, I love it when the aftermarket creates cool things for vehicles. And I've had that conversation with Rivian, and it's like, yeah, there are some things that people can do, but there are so many ways that you could make Rivians be easier to modify. And if they really embrace the aftermarket, people will just love them that much more.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I don't know.
Use it as a segue into the next topic that came in the chat there. So Rivian's really going to try to embrace the aftermarket with the R2, right? So they are trying to come up with a bunch of different things that aftermarket people or aftermarket companies can put on there. And so like those accessory ports I mentioned earlier on the rear of the R2 potentially could have a lot of different options. And I think some of the things they've shown off, like that plant bed, the planter, whatever you want to call it, the bike rack, and
Yeah.
the travel kitchen stuff. Those are all probably just concepts. I don't know if any of those actually make it, but they are great ideation products in that other people and other companies will think of things that they could put on the back of the R2. So
Yeah.
the question was, I'm trying to get us to R2. R2. When what was the question exactly? When we'll be able to do options and configurations and that kind of stuff. Rivian is I'm set to go on a rant on this. Rivian has not communicated anything on R2 really since you put down your $100.
Are you ready for that though? It'll be 365 days in 3 days.
Yep. I'm waiting for that day. I was gonna do a little spiel on it, but it's just like, what? They haven't done anything. I literally told them you need to send like a minimum a drone shot of the plant like every month or something. I said get Zach out there to do it. Zach's droning it all the time. You see him post things all the time. Give us an update. Tell us what products, what features are locked in, and what has been cut. I know, just simple stuff. Tease us one color. Hell, I mean, outside of white. tell us it's coming in storm blue. Who knows, right? And there's been zero communications on it. I don't understand why. If you're trying to retain people interest in your product, they're not doing a great job at it. And people that potentially are looking at buying a R2 are also now seeing this brand new Model Y come out. A lot of competitors releasing products very similar in that space. Like RJ said, there's a lot of products in that space, but they have done nothing to try to retain the pre-order holders. So I'm anxious for them to actually do something.
And in my opinion, I feel like when you go in and configure something to be the way that you like it, or the way that you feel like you're going to want it, that brings a level of commitment to that purchase. Like if you don't keep people engaged, you're going to see so many of those pre-orders drop off. I mean, you have to find a way to keep people engaged. And in my opinion, just with the buying process, committing to it, getting ready for it, anticipating it, I don't know. But
the market's too saturated with other vehicles at $50,000 or at or around 50 grand for them to just be sitting around hanging out, waiting over a year by the time they probably get around to actually doing anything to even show that R2 is alive beyond Chicago International Auto Show, coming and seeing you in Austin again, Skylar, 2 or 3 months ago. Like the people that are buying the R2 now aren't us. Like, and I don't say that in a bad way about them or a bad way about us. We were willing to hang out and wait for the vehicles that we have now. These people,
and they were also Halo vehicles, right?
Right.
I mean, it's a different class of a vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, it is more mainstream. Well, the other thing that I will say, though, is I can't tell you how many people in the last couple of months that have come up to ask about the Rivian that are Tesla drivers that now don't want to be associated with Elon. And so I feel like that alone, I mean, people want to move away from Tesla because of Elon, existing owners. And so they're looking for alternatives, right? So I don't know how many of those that Rivian might be able to capture, but it's really interesting to me. I mean, how strongly people feel about that. So we'll see.
The problem is
that's a real thing, man.
R2 needs to be here right now. Like right now, they'd be selling like hotcakes. Like they literally could sell every last one they made, full capacity. They could sell them all, and they're not there yet. We've seen pictures of the factory, and they're not even close. I mean, they are.
Yeah.
They're moving faster. They're moving faster than I think most people expected, but they're not close to delivering. And people are like, oh, they're going to deliver them in 2020, 2025. There's no way in hell they're delivering in 2025. They might get some prototypes out. I mean, maybe not prototypes, PIs, production intent vehicles and test vehicles and mules and whatnot. In fact, they drove around a F-150 with the with the R1 powertrain right under our noses for a long time.
Yep.
So I could see them doing that with R2. That'd be hilarious. They put it like a Bronco on top of it or something and drove it around. But there's still a lot of work to be done, and so they won't put the option and configurator together for a long time. We also had some issues with R1. Remember back, we're like, okay, they're going to offer a 5-seater, and people got the heart set on a 5-seat, and then poof, it's gone, right? And so they're. I think someone just posted in the chat. Scroll up somewhere. 95% of the parts are sourced. So there's still 5% of things that need to be sourced. That means they're not even fully locked in, right? And so maybe they're on design. I don't know, but.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing with that is having, volume-based contracts for something is different than being able to get, that 5% to put some things together. Now, granted, you're going to want volume sourced production parts going into consumer owned cars, but I think we're going to see some R2s roll out of normal in 2025. I just don't know. I mean, I don't think regular customers are going to get them in 2025.
I don't even think they'll have automation, right? Like they'll be okay. They have a machine for stamping, they have a machine for painting and all that stuff. I don't think they're going to have like the full line put together. It'll just be like, okay, we'll build a handful manually. I'm going to say manually, the bots will still do some of it, but there's not going to be like, okay, station 1 to station 2 and so forth. It's going to be, okay, it's time for paint. Let's take it over to the paint shop. Mm-hmm. So I think they'll have hand-built machine. I'm gonna call them hand-built, but hand-built vehicles that look like the right vehicle, and could be, who knows, could be just rear-wheel drive, could be all-wheel drive, could be a Trimax under there. Who knows?
Yeah. You know what though? So one of the things that was really, really interesting to me when we did the last factory tour, or when I did the last factory tour that I did, is they were talking about how much they've learned between setting up the R1 lines and even setting up EDV, even though it was a much larger vehicle. They figured out how they could do things better, faster, more efficient, and actually more space efficient with EDV, RCV, even compared to what they did at first with R1. So, I mean, seriously, all of those learnings, all of those lessons, and that knowledge that is now institutional knowledge should help them out a lot with R2, I think.
I would agree, but there's also some odd or interesting choices they made in building the factory. The R2 factory is quite a distance away from the main factory. So like, I'm just go ahead and share my screen so I can talk through it. Here, just a second. There it goes. This is from EV Guy Zach. So on the right edge of the screen here is the R2 factory, and this is the existing normal factory, right? So they've got to take a vehicle from here over here. That does not seem ideal. Does not seem ideal at all. And there's a lot of stuff here. I'm going to guess it connects in somewhere in this little space. I guess it could go here too, but they got something going on here. I've seen them been building on this little piece for a while. What is this? Why can't I zoom? But yeah, so they've got to transport the vehicles from here to there. And that is not that is going to be a bottleneck. I can't. I mean, it's going to be like an elevator or escalator. I don't even know what you call it. Conveyor belt. Conveyor belt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
conveyor. Yeah.
So, and then
Well, depending on how I mean, they've got those automated little robots too that can just wheel that stuff around.
yeah,
Like robot carts almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for some things, yeah.
I saw it move a whole EDV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the last time Nikki and I were there back in October of 23. Yeah, they had an EDV on one.
Wow.
they make them fly.
I mean,
right
that's
now.
cool.
They fly. The EDVs fly, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if that's using the Gen 1 ADAS hardware or sorry, that was a joke.
Wah, wah.
The automated carts. Okay. Gosh.
There's a whole vendor
Tough
for
crowd.
that. There's a vendor for that. I've got it somewhere. I'd have to find
Oh,
it. But
I know. I was just talking smack.
it's a whole robotic system. Like they have this like the AI. I'm sure they have AI. Everything's got AI.
Yeah.
But programmable system where they transfer parts and stuff via humanless. Everything just automatically flies to where it needs to go.
Yeah, it's pretty well.
Cordell, they're gonna hire the boring company.
There you
That's
go.
what they need. They need
Go
a tunnel.
under.
Yes,
They go under.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I love it.
That'd probably be a cheaper tunnel in Normal, Illinois than the one that they did in Las Vegas, though.
Yeah. It actually
I mean,
might even be cheaper to do that than fix the roads.
that could be valid, Jimmy.
Those roads are terrible right there.
Wait, what did we call it? Didn't we have like
Mogadishu?
well, I thought that there was like a funny play on words with Mogadishu or something, but I don't know. Whatever.
Dude, that road.
Yeah,
that college,
roads-
I think it was. That road
the roads
college
in
is
and around
brutal.
Normal, yeah, are not the best.
Downtown's awful, but like out by Rivian's all brand new, so it's really nice out there.
The one just south of the factory. Did they finally repave that one? Because it was one of the last times I was there. It was god awful.
Oh
think-
yeah, no, there was one that was right by the factory that was total trash.
It goes right between the factory and that like the machine shop or the manufacturing shop that's just south of the cornfield and the factory. One of the mini cornfields.
And-
I think it's College Street. Anyways,
Dude, their oval track is no more.
she gone. Yeah.
I'm kind of sad about that.
Yeah, they consumed a lot of that space. They had to move employee parking. They put up new employee parking lots like out front, and then they consumed a lot of that stuff for additional parking lot for R2.
Yeah, well, and I mean, even years back, there were some people on buses
Oh yeah.
coming
There's
into the
no-
factory.
Yeah, they went heavy on buses. Like it's some of the parking lots. If you were to walk, it's like 20 or 30 minutes from where they're parking to get to the factory. If you were to
Yeah.
walk it,
I mean, they could do a track. What do you call it? Tram. We could do a tram with an R1T like they do.
There you go.
I'm gonna share it. I've got a picture. This thing is cool as hell. Hold on. Like you have to do this. This one. This thing
So
is cool.
Ben,
there you go.
That thing is cool. Look, it's even got the R1T wheels on it, or the R1S wheels on it.
yeah, it's like a hayride trailer with friggin' Rivian wheels on it. But yes, that is cool.
Yeah, I think it says something like Tom Suburbs has a picture of it. It's like an R1M or something for R1 trailer or something like that.
There you go. That's awesome.
R1 tow. How about that? Yeah.
It's got the whole
Um,
logo. It's got an R1 something logo on the back. I think Tom took a picture of it. I didn't get one.
Nice. So let's see. So yeah, Ben, I think they're going as fast as they can trying to get R2 out because they know that there's demand for it right now. Um but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they can go any faster than they are currently going. They're
Right.
accelerated. I think they accelerated and they're going faster than they originally pitched, but I think they still are going to make it like first half of 26, like they keep preaching during the every earnings call, and then Claire just did her live session or tape session the other day, and it was the same thing. There, she worded it funny when they asked that question. It was like almost like if something wrong happens, then it won't hit first half. Is how I heard it. Did anybody hear it that way? That's how I heard it.
I didn't listen to it.
I
Man.
listened to a few of those tidbits, but yeah, not all of them. So I didn't catch that.
Yeah, they should
And
do the
yes.
R1 Safari. R1 Safari is a great truck.
Man, those are cool. Super cool.
Do you think there's impact by tariffs?
Ooh,
Yes, there will be.
there absolutely will be. Now, the interesting thing is I don't know. It all depends on how their contracts are written, right? I mean, ooh, yeah, that I feel like there's going to be some impact. I don't know that the end consumer is going to see any of those impacts from Rivian.
They already
we'll
raised
see.
they raised the price in Canada, so I mean it could happen. It could happen. The devaluation of the dollar or increase of the bottom line. Someone's got to absorb it, and they really don't want to have another negative quarter, or they will have some, but they still want to keep getting gross positive. So I don't know. I think they will either increase prices. I can see them even dropping the standard pack, to be honest. Like stop offering the standard pack, because that one comes directly from China. So that's what I would do.
Yeah, that kind of rolls into this question then. Since we're talking about China, the batteries, in order to get the full 7,500 now, if you were to buy, if that doesn't go away, doesn't everything have to be made in America, correct? Made in the US?
Yeah, and critical minerals can't come from certain countries like China, right? So it's not even where's the battery cell produced, but where did those minerals come from on top of that. So there's that's going to be interesting, but they've been working on that for years now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they've been working towards it anyway, and yeah, we'll see. I mean, the other big question is, will there be a $7,500 credit when R2 is ready to roll?
Right. Hence Dave's point. Yeah, I think Skylar, you and I have talked about this a bunch. Like, my quick 30-second version of this is I don't think that the $7,500 tax credit, I don't think there should be one. I think that if they're, and now I'm making this longer because I lost my train of thought. If the government incentivized manufacturers to make an affordable EV, then that would be the savings passed on to the people versus some getting it, some not. Whether if you lease it, you get it. If you don't lease it, you don't. Like just make a affordable, not cheap, but just an affordable or inexpensive vehicle that the majority of Americans can buy.
Well, so I am a believer in incentives until it becomes affordable enough to become more widespread, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like EVs are almost there. They're not at complete cost compared. They're not at complete cost parity
Yeah.
with ICE vehicles, but they're close and they're better. And I mean, there's still for many, many years to come going to be anti-EV people out there that won't want to buy one anyway, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I feel like we're close, and the people that know enough about EVs are going to buy them even if they cost a bit more. And they used to cost a lot more. But I feel like that's not really the case anymore.
Yeah, cell prices have come down substantially. That was the big driver for cost in the past. Now the cost of the cell is much cheaper, and so they can make cheaper batteries, and that's the most expensive piece of the vehicle, and so vehicle prices are coming down and so forth. And to your point, I think the products are better now. Like like before, like who wanted a Leaf? sorry, Leaf owners, but who wanted to drive 90 miles and charge and not be able to charge on a road trip with it? I mean, that was just a commuter car. And now we're a long way from that, where we have a whole charging networks built out and faster charging vehicles.
Yeah.
And
a lot of the roadblocks are
desirable,
gone.
fun to drive vehicles, not just, let's call them, I mean, like the Leaf, that was an economy vehicle, just a commuter. Like it got the job done, but there was nothing inspiring about it. And Rivian's different. And most of the EVs these days are different.
I think gas prices need to
They're
go to
fun.
$4 or $5. Gas prices need to go $4 or $5, and then EVs are back in the picture again. Right now the gas prices are going down, right? And so it's going to be a world of hurt for EV sellers, just because now you're like, oh, it's not actually, gas isn't that bad, and any savings you would have. And then look at what we had the prior episode on RAN prices, right? Like DC fast charging on road trips is now actually almost as much as gas, if not more sometimes.
Ugh.
So a lot of the things that people are like, oh, I get an EV for this, for that. Like I personally, when I bought my first one, I did all the math. Like I put it on in an Excel. Everyone does everything Excel. Here's what it costs. Here's how many miles I drove a month, and here's how many gallons of gas that equates to, and here's the price of gas, and effectively put half of my car payment was just gas savings, right? And so that's a harder pitch when the gas prices go down and electricity prices go up, especially on road trips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and road trips have always been the sticky wicket for most areas around the US. Now, I know, like, still it is, especially here in Texas, we have pretty good electricity prices, but it is significantly less expensive to, if you fuel up at home, if you charge at home. Even though we've got low gas prices too, right? But still, it's about a quarter of the cost to fuel. So, I mean, that's compelling when you compare it to a like vehicle, a comparable, like 3-row SUV, let's say. So anyway, and dude, so much more fun to drive and lower maintenance overall, less moving parts. I mean, yeah, all the things.
Yep. Well, gents, I need to go to bed.
Yeah.
I'm beat. I've been yawning this whole time. I feel terrible.
You look terrible, Jimmy.
Yeah, I took a shower before we recorded. That way I could literally take my contacts out and crawl into bed. Like, brush my teeth, then crawl into bed. No, I met up with some Rivian folk earlier today and broke bread.
Nice.
So I'm just tired. It's been a long day.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. Well, and I don't know if you noticed, Jimmy, but I am
Dude.
wearing my fam camping shirt
Yeah. So
from last year.
3 shameless plugs actually, and then a plug. If for those that are maybes, book for Rivian Stories Fam Camp 2025, our 3rd annual, April 24th to 27th. The link is on rivianstories.com. 2, I just designed and posted the new shirts, so they're available for purchase in a long sleeve and a short sleeve. I did that today right after I got home from work.
Okay.
3, for those that are attending, and I'm looking at you, Manny, and a few others I saw on here, to include you, Skylar, which actually you don't have to worry about because we cover the protein. Is the potluck list is up for people that are coming, so they can post what they're bringing for the potluck on Saturday night. And we got some good stuff to raffle off, which is another great. It's a fun. That's always been a fun event. Is the raffle on Saturday night. And then 2, my plug, which is not shameless because it does not involve me, but Electrify Expo Orlando is coming up in 2 weeks. And granola bars, but yeah, good job, Manny. Way to sacrifice for everybody.
They better have chocolate chips in them, Manny.
Valid, and no granola. Electrify Expo Orlando is coming up in 2 weeks. Pete Mueller from Tent World is holding a pre-party on Thursday. He's one of the sponsors for the event and a member of the Florida Rivian Club. And
like window tent or like tent. Sleep-in camping tent?
Yeah, window tent. They do tent wraps, lights, all that stuff. Anyways, he's having a pre-event party on Thursday. Anybody that shows up, free food, beverages, and then free tickets to the expo.
Oh, that's cool.
Reach out to me via the comments, and I'll kick over Pete's email. That way you can RSVP to let him know how much food and beverage Pete needs to buy.
Nice.
Yeah. What are you laughing about, Chris?
I'm just not a big potlucker, and I don't think I would do well at these kind of events.
Oh man.
Oh
we have a
no,
good
it's
time,
fun,
dude.
man.
We have a good time.
And people brought so much good stuff, and like a lot of them, it was like family recipes and man, cakes, pies, like all the things. It's pretty awesome.
Sounds delicious, but I would absolutely like overeat and just get sick.
See, I just overdrink and get sick.
Yeah, that too.
White Claw. Yeah. All right.
Exactly.
It's a good time. All right.
It is.
Well, Jimmy, get to bed. Thanks everybody for joining. Yeah. Till next week.
Sweet. See everybody then.